Well, it's been a busy month or so as I got that Ford pickup finished for NNL East and the Mid-Atlantic NNL. Those are behind us now. It's time to get back to work on a couple of group builds. Welcome to the model room. Let me start out by giving a shout out to Dan from 60s Rule. I met him at the Mid-Atlantic NNL, and he's a great guy. He's had some difficulties recently. He seems to be getting back on track. We certainly hope that that continues for him. He gave me one of his shop cards, and it's a really cool little card. I love this a lot. He's doing a couple of group builds. One of them I'm going to talk about today. But we had a great time at the Mama's Show, as it's called. And a lot of our guys showed up. And in fact, the president of our club, Tri-State Scale Model Car Club, Tom Geiger, brought home a People's Choice Award for the light commercial category. So congratulations to Tom. And Dan, thank you very much for Shop Card. And this also, I think, is a refrigerator magnet. They're very cool. I'm sure you know about Dan, but I'll put a link below anyway. So, okay, let's move on. This is the group build that Dan is hosting, and it is the Frankie Frizzo Appreciation build. Now, Frankie, of course, is a good friend of mine, fellow club member, and I decided to do this as a rat rod. You may remember that it started out like this. This was a demo body. When I did that video on the hot knife versus the sonic knife, this was what the hot knife did. So I decided I was going to use that and build it back and chop the top and section the body. And I've done that. And here it is now in primer. By the way, this is Stynylrez primer. It's the first time I used it. This is the color that's known as neutral. I really like it a lot. I think it's a great product. You can shoot it right out of the bottle or you can thin it. I did both. It worked fine each time. So here's the body. It obviously needs some more work. Since it's going to be a rat rod, it doesn't have to be perfect, but I've got some little gaps here that have to be filled. I've got some sanding to do back here, and also on this side, there's going to be flaws in it, obviously. One of them, by the way, is intentional. That's this B-pillar. And I guess the backstory on this would be that the guy that did the chopping got a little carried away with his torch and took out too much. I'm going to put some styrene in there, paint it up silver, make it look like he just fixed it with some aluminum rod or something. On this end, though, this was from the hot knife, and that is not going to be left that way. I'm going to fill that in with some Bondo or maybe some Tamiya polyester putty. This dip back here is going to be taken out as well, and I will fix that up. We're going to get this thing rolling. The inside, I don't know. The cards for the interior panels fit very nicely even into this section body. It's remarkable, but it does, and it doesn't really seem that they need to be sectioned. I wasn't sure what I was going to do for the inside in terms of color. I was thinking about just silver and black, but it is kind of an upholstered interior, and I'm thinking now that I may just go with this neutral Stynylrez color. So that's the body here. I also stripped most of the suspension pieces here because I didn't want them to be chrome. On a rat rod, you don't really want to have chrome, so I made them this sort of aluminum color. Still have a little bit more to go on that. And then I'll get around to putting together the suspension on the chassis. Here is the engine block so far. And I did hit it with a little bit of panel accent black, make it look dirty. I didn't do it on the carb because I don't think the carb should be dirty. I think if you're going to run a rat rod, you're still going to have a good engine, and you're going to keep that fairly clean. This goes on top. This is just the air cleaner for it. I made it look ratty. I did put a filter in there, if you can see that. There's a little black mesh in there. So that's going to ride on top. In addition to that, I have these bomber seats that I got. These are 3D and painted up silver. I did a sort of a brownish oxblood color for the leather cushions. I think they came out okay. And this is the radiator grill that I have been ratting up. I don't even know where I got this, but it's got the radiator inside the grill, a little bit of green on the bottom here. So that's going to go in front. These are the headlights from that Barris T-Buggy that I'm also working on. And I'm going to like file these little lumps off of them and then paint them up silver to make them sort of look like a tin can or something, and put the lenses in. Those will be the headlights for this build. So it's coming along, and pretty soon I will have another update and hopefully show you a completed chassis and advance on the body. One other detail, these are the headers that I picked for the Fire Dome engine, and as you can see, they're wrapped, and I painted them up to look just a little casual, maybe a little dirty, but ratty. Switching over now to Woody's Rock and Roll on Wheels group build. Here is the body from the Barris T-Buggy that I'm going to use, and it also is in Stynylrez neutral primer. This took a lot of sanding to actually come out smooth, especially on the bottom here. And you won't see these marks of the chassis will go in here, but it was very rough. And I had to do a lot of prep just to get it to this spot. Of course, it's going to get this front end from the Myers Manx. And it's also going to get the headlights from the Manx, because I'm using the headlights from this model for the Rat Rod. But I didn't want to use them on this anyway. I didn't really like them for this. The engine has gotten a lot of work. I have to tell you, this particular car has been kind of a pain. It comes in this yellow styrene, and it's really hard. It's really shiny and smooth. Very hard to get solvent glues to stick. I don't know why that is, but I would put a piece on with just regular Testors glue or Tamiya thin cement, and then the next day I'd be working on the engine and that part would fall off, and underneath you could see that the plastic wasn't melted or fused together like you're supposed to get with solvent glue. A lot of this now has gone together with epoxy, two-part epoxy, and also with some pins that I put into there. In fact, when I put on the cylinder casing, the attachment points on this model are minuscule. I don't know how they thought it would stay together, but when I put that on, they simply wouldn't hold. And I ended up going to my backup engine. This is the backup engine block, and I put these cylinder housings on before I put the engine halves together so that I could epoxy them from the inside and make sure they would hold. In the meantime, now I've got some pulleys on there. I've got to put a fan belt on it and a couple other things. I actually went through, I think, 3 different colors. It started out as yellow, and then it went to blue. Finally ended up with a gunmetal, which I think looks best here. So a couple more pieces go on here. Got to attach those plug wires, and then we'll be ready to get it in the chassis and get things going. One of the other things I want to do is use this for the floor, on the floor pan inside. This is Ken's velvet stick. So this is self-adhesive, sort of a velvet kind of a carpeting almost. I know that these things generally are all fiberglass inside and out. It's going to be mostly the same color, even inside, but I thought that the floor might need a little bit of a different color. So I thought I would give this a try. And then with the wheels, I picked out some wheels, and I want to do something with them. Let me show you. So these are the wheels that I want to use. I think they're very nice wheels and just about deep enough. They're bigs and littles, and they'll fit good on those 3D printed tires that I got. But I want to have the centers colored in it as gloss black, and then I'll chrome up the center cap and the lug nuts. And to do that, I could just, freehand paint it. But of course, with my shaky hands, I keep mentioning this, but it's true. I have to work around that. So what I'm going to do is cut the wheel. And you can see here, there's a nice groove inside here. And I can cut that wheel along that groove, pull off the outer rim, leave that chrome, strip the inner spokes, and then I'll paint them up in a gloss black and then detail them, and they'll go together very nicely. Let me show you one of the things that you can do with wheels. If you have a wheel that doesn't have a groove around the outside, what you can do is just take a book and take a razor saw and put it in the book at whatever level you want. and then hold it down flat, very tightly, and take your wheel and turn it around the edge and put a groove in it. That will then give you the opportunity to have a marking on this wheel. I don't use the razor saw to cut through in this manner. I would just use one of these because I like these little blades and they work very well. But this, you can do this. I saw this, I think, in Ken Hamilton's column years ago in Scale Auto. And I think someone was using this method to cut grooves into a slick to make it a cheater slick. But you can use it for any number of things because if you keep it on the same page, it'll always have the same mark in it. So that's just a little tip. And finally, for this video, I printed out the image of those wet Oakley seat covers that I want to put on this dune buggy. And I've been playing with sizing. I think this might be about the size. I reduced it, I think, to 35%. So I'll print some more off, and then I will make a pattern on the seat, cut this out, and glue it in, and it'll look like a seat cover. Okay, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you especially to my subscribers. The subscriber count for viewed videos has gone up quite a lot, especially since Ed and El East, and I very much appreciate that. Thanks to everyone. And I'm going to go away for about a week or so, and then I'll come back and continue working on this. So I'll see you next time. Thanks a lot.